Welcome, comic book readers, to episode 35 of the Nerd Herd Comic Book Club. If you're joining us on the live stream right now, thank you very much for participating with us. And if you're new, where have you been? We are a comic book club for people who like to read comics. Every week we'll take a different story arc or a standalone collected edition, which we'll all read along together, and then we gather via these live streams to share our thoughts, views, and reviews. There should be a link in the description of wherever you are right now. So if you click that, it should take you to all of our socials and where we are. As a reminder of what we're reading this week, I know you don't need one, but let's do it anyway. We are reading Planet Hulk. We're back in the Marvel camp this week. So this was published by Marvel in 2006. And the writer was Greg Pak. And if you watch along every week, you might remember that name from the Doctor Strange book that we read. And the art on this was done by various people, but the two that seem to get the major credit is Carlo Pagulayan and Aaron Lopresti. I think are the two that get the credit for doing the art on this. So there you go. That is what we are reading, and you can find Planet Hulk in the Incredible Hulk Volume 2, issues 92 to 105. If you've not read along and you want to go and check it out, that's where you will find it. And of course, I'm joined by my awesome co-hosts every week, and I'll just say, don't make them angry. You won't like them when they're angry. But they are Phil from the YouTube channel Phil's Nerdiverse.
Hello, everyone.
We have Shane from the YouTube channel Dawn of Comics.
Hoi.
And we have Scott from the YouTube channel Scott Shelf.
Hi, everyone. How you doing?
How are we, folks?
Very good.
There's a lot of green on the screen, right now. Phil's got his lights on, Shane's got his backdrop. Scott, why haven't you brought anything green?
I didn't want to.
There you go. There's your answer. Are we looking forward to this one then? Are we looking forward to talking Hulk?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I think this is the first Hulk storyline we've covered.
Yes.
Awesome. There we go. This should be a good one. So let's meet everyone and do introductions. See who's joining us today. We have Tom from This Month in Movies. Good evening, Nerd Herders. Time for Hulk smashing. Says Tom there. Amy is joining us saying evening all. Hello to you, Amy. We got our man Firehawk here as well saying hello. We have Liam saying hidey ho. Howdy ho. And we have Triple G Comics. How you doing, mate? See Shane's in there as well. We've got Adam and Caroline joining us as well. Hi to you guys. Hope you're doing well. We've got everyone's favorite tennis ball, Fuzzy Dunlap. Good evening, everyone. And we've got young Jack here as well. Jack Talks Comics. A topic I could join in with more. I've read and loved Planet Hulk. Hey, awesome. Happy to have you here, man. Who else do we have in here? We've got Andy from Petro Comics. Very good evening, Nerd Herders. I hope you are all having an incredible day. You too, mate. I hope you've enjoyed some of the sunshine today. And we have Giretto Bueno, I want to say. If next week isn't World War Hulk and all tie-ins, I boycott the channel.
Oh, jeez, we better stop now.
Whoa. And we got Echidna joining us as well, saying hello, Herd. Hello to you. Hope you're well, mate. There we go. Scott, have I missed anyone?
No, I wasn't looking, so sorry.
Not helpful today. Didn't bring anything green. He's not checking the comments, man. What?
I've just speed written my synopsis because I forgot to do it.
Oh, man.
Anyway, let's go.
Where'd you go to get co? Is there a thing called cohost.com we can check out? No?
Ouch.
I'm only messing. We've got, man, everyone has these really hard names to pronounce. It's been singing. Hello, can I have a request for Phil and Scott? Can I have a request for you? Can you show the full? Yeah, what's this with the t-shirt thing, man? You know,
this has happened before.
We did have that before, didn't we?
Is that the same person too?
I think it is. Yeah, come on, guys, you got to show your t-shirts now.
No,
I'm not standing and parading myself, but I'll show you the t-shirt.
Hulk smash. And of course, we've got Scott wearing a Flash Star Labs t-shirt there as well. All right, folks. Enough messing about. Let's get down to it. Of course, we're going to need a synopsis, and every week that is usually given by the person that chose the book. And this time it was man Scott.
Okay. Planet Hulk shows us Hulk being sent away from Earth. He ended up accidentally going to the wrong planet. He ended up then being some sort of prophet called the Sakaar. He ends up saving the planet from this Red King, who was just being an absolute, he then defeats the Red King, becomes the king himself, falls in love, ruins everything, and then goes to fight Earth because it's all Earth's fault is the reason why everything was ruined.
Playing the blame game, pointing fingers. There we go. That's the synopsis. Good job, man. All right then, let's kick this off. I can't remember who went first last week. Again, did you guys? So Phil, over to you then, mate. Do you want to take this one?
Yeah, I'll take it. So before I read this, I'll be honest, I wasn't looking forward to it. It's not off the back of Scott's Doctor Strange origin pick. That wasn't that at all. I never thought of the Incredible Hulk as like I know he has his own run of books, but for me, he's always been a team and a team book or being part of a main event. And then when I seen that like there was multiple artists throughout this, I was like, I don't want to have different art every couple of issues. And to be fair to the artists, it wasn't that. It didn't change that much. There were very subtle differences where the fact that I almost forgot there was different artists. So the whole way through it, the book was on point.
Can I ask a question though about that? Because this was the thing. Did the different artists do different issues, or was it like a joint effort? Like you had Carlo maybe drawing the Hulk and then passing it over for like background art by other people, like, or did they just work on those individual ones? I think it was broken down into like sections. So the first 4 issues was called Exile, and I can't pronounce the name. You've done a very good job at it. Carlo Pagulayan. I looked it up.
Yeah, he was the penciler on Exile, which is the first 4 issues, and then there was Banner War, then there was Anarchy, and that was somebody called Aaron Lopresti. But so they did change throughout. But Carlo, what's it?
Pagulayan.
He was the main one throughout, pretty much. But they did change throughout, but they broke it down to kind of like different chapters of the book. Right.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I agree with you. Like I thought that as well, because the last time we read something that was quite a large run was Maximum Carnage in episode 3 that we did. So it was ages ago now. And I remember one of the niggles I had was that the art tended to change between the kind of like the different titles that ran over. But you spot on, Phil, for me. Like I didn't find much of a visual difference at all. Anyway, did you, Scott?
There was one issue where I really noticed it, but all the others, I was like, nah. It was you could have passed it as the same artist on every other issue. It was just one that really looked a bit more cartoony than the others for me. I can't tell you which one it is right now, but yeah, there was one.
I suppose there was like flashbacks as well, wasn't there? I think some of the art changed for that, but that was probably more to catch the tone of the flashback, if you know. Yeah. So it wasn't too jarring. It was fine because it was a flashback. You can accept the fact the art's different.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Yeah, Shane, how about you?
Yeah, same. I enjoyed the art overall. For the most part, it's going to sound really nitpicky, but when there was a lot happening, it was kind of muddled and there weren't really defined characters, as everyone was kind of the same color and the same shape, and they all had the same armor on. That's the only nitpicky stuff I have, because the art was great.
Yeah. I think you are right. I mean, it was very busy in parts. You had like a lot of characters in panels and stuff. So thinking about really like the effort put into this art wise was pretty huge. I think really like they squeezed a lot into all of those panels. Thinking about it. Let me just say a quick hello to Carl as well, joining us, saying hey guys, hope you're well, mate. I thought. For me personally, I thought the Hulk looked fantastic in this.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah, and I really liked some of the other characters as well, like Silver Surfer. And weirdly enough, the only guy I didn't like was the Red King. I thought they could have just done something a bit more interesting with him to make him stand out a bit. Like
He just looked the same, but he had a little crown on, and that was it.
yeah.
That's how you know he's in charge.
Yeah. Oh, a tiny crown. Okay, cool. Borderline tiara, but all right.
One thing I really liked about the Silver Savage was the fact that they give him the whole gladiator garb, the armor and the wee shin guards, but he's wearing like a little kind of, I don't know what you call it, like a ripped bit of clothing over his private parts.
Right.
But like, it's like he doesn't wear it any other time. So why did they give it to him now?
I know.
He's smoothed down there like a Ken doll, so he doesn't need it.
Just look the part. The thing I liked about his design in this story was that they used his surfboard as a shield. It was like strapped to his arm, and I thought that was a really clever way to kind of, incorporate him into a gladiator kind of form. Like, and that was awesome.
Yeah, I thought the character designs were awesome in this. Even he's he's the lady that becomes his girlfriend. Now I don't know how to pronounce her name. Is it? Let's have a little vote. If you're watching along with us as well, man, help us out here. Is it Kyra, or is it, what was your one, Shane? Kara, or like, how do you pronounce her name?
Personally, I would say Kaira. That's how I was just reading it, as Kaira.
Kaira, right?
That's my take on it. But yeah,
okay.
It's funny you asked the chat because they're just going to type out her name as it's spelled in the book.
Yeah, pretty much.
Could get a load of trolls.
I never thought that through, did I? Tom is saying he really liked the art style throughout the mini issues. Coloring was also good. The Red King was bland and less in his armor. And a big hello to Sith Laundry there as well, joining us. Hope you're well, mate. We've got Jack Talks Comics as he read it. K-Ara.
Yeah.
Right.
K-Ara.
What?
Yeah, that's another option.
Who strangely, I thought as a comic book drawing, I thought she was really hot.
Yeah, she was. I agree. Like as a design, she was pretty good.
She reminded me of Huntara from the old She-Ra cartoon in the 80s. Does anyone remember her? Am I showing my age?
What's the 80s?
Yeah.
Oh god.
Sky, it's an app.
Oh, okay.
That's what
I'll download it. Is it big or?
All right, let's. Should we get to the pages and have a look at some examples of the art of what we picked, of what we enjoyed? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right then. Let's start with Mr. Scott. Let's go with yours, mate. You chose this one.
I chose this one. This was like 3/4 of the way through, where I think it's the Red King just tries to destroy the world, in it, but the Hulk. He breaks like a tectonic plate, doesn't he? So the Hulk tries to hold it together. And it was that last panel, well, the last two panels really for me, it was just that kind of that willpower and just sheer strength and determination. Like for me, like I watch a lot of animes, and that's what draws me to that kind of stuff, and that's what excites me most, is that kind of sheer will and determination and stuff. So those two panels, I just really I just felt it. And yeah, I think that page, I was stuck between two pages, but they both pretty much had conveyed the same kind of feeling for me, but this was the better looking one in my opinion. But yeah, I just love that. Just that last panel, his face, and just you can just tell he's tensing up all his neck and shoulders, and it's just great.
I think there's a couple of moments in this story arc where you really do get to see just how of a badass the Hulk is, really. And I think this is one of those moments.
Yeah. I think he knows he can't die, so he's jumping into, he sacrificed himself to save everybody, and that's cool. So cool.
Yeah, just the magnitude of that, like holding tectonic plates, like what the hell? Like
just think about
that's cool.
That. It kind of parallels towards the end of the story as well. Like you see him in physical pain here as he's doing something and he's engulfed in the flame, and then later on you see him in emotional pain, engulfed in the flame, when he's holding his wife.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like a callback to this.
You okay, sir?
Right in the feels.
That was tragic.
We got Andy here saying Hulk's teeth are immaculate, and Carlo in the backside was saying Hulk got some great dental plan, and we've got a kid that says reminds me of the classic Spidey lifting rubble scene. Yeah, it kind of does a little bit, doesn't it? Has the same kind of magnitude in there as well. And hello to Paolo Costa joining us as well. Hope you well, me. Scott, is there any more on your panels that you picked there?
Nah, it's just sick.
Do you not like it? You okay? You feel okay?
Yeah, I feel great.
Oh, these kids.
These kids. Okay, then let's move on. We've only got 3 pages today because 2 of you picked the same page.
Ooh,
and that's going to be Shane and Phil. So, Shane, do you want to start us off with this one? And then, Phil, you can carry on.
I picked this for multiple reasons. Obviously, it's awesome. I mean, look at Silver Surfer. He looks fantastic. And he's hitting the Hulk. And I'm not a fan of the Hulk. I've never been a fan of the Hulk, so I really, really like this. I really like to see him get beat down. So when Silver Surfer came in, I thought, yeah, favourite page.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't expect Silver Surfer to appear in this book. I am a Silver Surfer fan, kind of. But as Scott was saying, like, he's using the board as a shield. You can see his kind of arms strapped in there and stuff. And like the panel before this, Hulk and Silver Surfer had greeted each other like they're friends. They called him friend, and they just whacks him with the. It was just great. It's just action packed, and I just think it's superb. And like I say, the wee loincloth. What's the point? Do
you know what I like on this though? The kind of, we talk about that getting a sense of motion and stuff and everything, and like this page is incredible. I think like with all the lightning and the kind of like the blur around the edge. It was really good.
It comes from the mace, but why is the mace making lightning?
I took it that it was he not using his powers as well?
I'm guessing he would have been using his cosmic powers. Yeah. I'm guessing, wasn't he?
He was limited with his powers because of the electronic tag. Yeah. Sure, remember before it was destroyed?
The obedience disc.
Yeah, or the obedience disc.
Somebody read the book.
Yeah,
he must have still had some.
Yeah,
a kid is saying splash pages often make him roll his eyes, but this is rad.
It also reminded me of Thor, Ragnarok, when they meet. It's very much like Thor and Hulk meeting, isn't it?
Has anybody watched the animated movie of Planet Hulk?
I have, but I can't remember. I can't remember. Right. I know that he fights in the animated movie. He fights.
It's Beta Ray Bill, isn't it?
That was going to be. Bill, yeah.
Okay, so because I saw it ages ago and I couldn't remember. And when I was reading this and the Silver Surfer turned up, I was like, I'm pretty sure it was Beta Ray Bill in the animated. And yeah, there you go then. Yeah. So it was. But yeah, I love that page. I find it quite fun that you both chose that as well.
Out of all the pages, of the 400 pages,
Anything else on that one?
No, just awesome.
Okay, the one I chose, again, I don't think I picked this just because of like the amazing artwork on it, but I picked it just because I think I kind of wanted to highlight, just like for a Marvel story, this gets quite dark.
Yeah,
I was surprised just how dark this got, really. And I don't just mean the ending. I mean like this scene here. I really read this and I thought, wow, for a Marvel book, that's pretty brave. And for those that haven't read it long, you might want to just mute us for a couple of seconds. And that the other page after this, you see the kind of the child she's holding, like disintegrated in her arms. And I was like, wow, for Marvel, that's really brave, man.
It's hard.
It shocked me. Yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of nowhere for me. I was like, what? Yeah.
And they brought it up a few times, didn't they, in the whole story? Like there was a flashback, wasn't there? Like at the end of the story of her showing that again. I was like, man, why are you bringing this up again?
Yeah, stop reminding me. Yeah. But that's why I picked that one, because I just kind of wanted to highlight, that this does get quite dark. Would you say this was for young'uns? Would you let kids read this?
Nah, yeah. Like maybe like a young teen, like maybe, but yeah, nah.
Yeah, like I wouldn't let my 4-year-old read it, but
Mm.
Between 4 and 12, it'd be okay. Like 8 years old, I'd say it'd be okay. I watched Halloween when I was 6 years old, so this is okay.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
look how you turned out.
Look at you now, yeah.
Yeah, I was surprised. I didn't expect that level of darkness in this, and that combined with the end as well. Like you said, Shane, there's like parallels, isn't there? It's all, I don't know whether that is full on foreshadowing, but it's definitely a nod to what comes later on down the line, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm trying to think, like, why have they gone so dark in this book? And I'm thinking maybe it's just to really get Hulk mad, like something really bad has to happen to make Hulk as strong as he gets, I guess. And I think, like, what else do you do apart from nuke a whole area and disintegrate some kids? I mean, that would make everyone mad. So
I think for me, like, given the history of the Hulk, like at that point there, like, he's considered a danger, and he's essentially like an A-bomb himself, isn't he? So to give him a story arc where he actually has a chance of finding some kind of peace, and living amongst people, and snatching that away, like, I think that's where the darkness comes into it for me. So you can really see that Hulk broken at the end of this story arc, which obviously for those that don't know, this runs into World War Hulk, as we had a comment earlier as well. So yeah, he's going to be pissed, like at that point, isn't he? But I thought it was really clever how they used that darkness.
what I did love about the art was just how well they were able to just convey action and destruction and emotion. Like, there's a lot of crying in this, like a lot of characters crying and stuff, and just like, there's a lot of, like, I'm hoping Shane enjoyed it. There's a lot of facial expressions. It's not just one all the way through. There's a lot of mad, there's a lot of sad, you see a lot of subtle grins and, like, little smiles and stuff like that as well, but just like it's a whole range of emotions in the whole book. And yeah, I think that's something I definitely wanted to bring up, was just how varied everything was but just subtle touches now and then as well.
Yeah, I think you're right. There was a lot of emotion, I think, in this, and I think the Hulk is obviously, it can be a bit linear if he's not written right, because he does operate just on anger and rage, and but I think the fact that, like you've just said there, to get so many kind of subtle emotions in this as well on top of all of that, I think that's what really keeps you invested in this story arc for me.
And I know the fact that he, obviously he keeps getting angry to get strong, but they demonstrate so many different ways to make him angry. Like, he got sad, that made him mad. They did something to actually annoy him.
You know what they never did though? They never kind of put Lego on the floor, so like he trod on that stuff. Like, yeah, there was other things they could have done as well. Before we carry on with the writing, let's address some comments here. We got Liam who says, "I think that's why some of the Pinkies were made to look so similar. Hulk and co were often regarded as monsters, but in reality, it was the ones who looked like them that dropped the bombs, etc." Yeah, I think there's definitely a sense of that as well, isn't there? About who are the real monsters in this. Did anyone else get that as well?
Yeah, and it turns out to be the humans, really. The Avengers are the real assholes. Yeah.
Yeah,
and
those guys.
No. A kid that's saying he didn't expect a Hulk story to make me sad. I say he. I don't know whether a kid that is a he or a she or a they or a them. I don't know. Pablo Costa says, "I never expected the Hulk to care so much about a place and a group of people. I don't think he ever connected to Betty and Rick the way he did to Kaera. I don't know how you pronounce it. And Miek. I agree with that. I liked the relationship you had with, and Miek got hench."
To be fair, Miek started off really kind of cute and funny, and it was entertaining, and then he got involved into the biggest annoying, irritating prick. I didn't like Miek towards the end of the story. I really disliked him. Yeah, he just done my head in. I couldn't cope with him anymore. He was just too aggressive and too violent. He just wanted to kill everybody.
I think Tom agrees with you. He was telling me earlier he didn't like that Miek when he flipped out. But I kind of felt like it was more like once he was king, he had the responsibility of all of his people. Then
Yeah, but it's just like, whenever he gave a hit, they all had their own kind of like flashback of why they are where they are, and Miek was quite sad and stuff. And then you later discover that the queen bug, whatever species they are, she's dead. She's the last queen. She's dead. So their species is doomed. I suppose you're right. He has that responsibility, but I just didn't like his attitude. I thought his attitude was rotten.
He could have been happier, Phil. I know.
Never mind the responsibility. He was still a dick. That's what you say, really.
See that? Yeah. See as well.
Just ignore everything that's happened to his species. He should have been happier.
He's a bug. He's a bug. It's not important. But see, to touch on the relationship Hulk had with Kiara, like the moment that kind of touched with me, in fact, that like you never see Hulk emotional, is the fact that whenever they were kind of married and they're about to consummate their union, he showed himself to be Bruce Banner. But throughout the book, he hated Bruce Banner. He says Bruce Banner is the weakest human there is. He's smart, but he's weak. He's the worst one type thing. But the fact that he was able to show Bruce in human form, to show this is part of me now, I thought that was quite emotional too. Like he's showing this girl who he really is. Like
he really didn't want to hide anything from her.
Yeah. And then so he opened up to her, and then afterwards she opened up to him.
Oh dear. I quite like that we got to see, because in this, that's the only time you actually got to see Bruce, really, wasn't it, when he did that in this whole run, if I'm not mistaken.
I read the giant size Hulk issue that was part of it,
me too.
and that it was all pretty much like a dream the Hulk was having of Bruce kind of tempting him and torturing him a wee bit. So he was very much in that. But throughout the rest of the issues, that was the only one he was in. Yeah.
Yeah, because I read this omnibus paperback. It says omnibus on it, but it's not hardback. But I read it in that, and there's no giant size Hulk in that, but there is a Gladiators Handbook in that, and it's like a mini, I'd say like a mini trade paperback of its own, and it's kind of like written like you are the gladiator, and it's like that's your handbook. But it has a lot of information about like the solar system around Sakaar and the people and Crown City. And I'm talking like loads of data on it. It's like whole pages of the anatomy of the bugs, and it's crazy. Too
much homework.
Yeah, I didn't get through it all. I did get to a point I was like, no, that's enough now. So it sounds like we were kind of fans of some of the techniques used in the writing here. Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we're all agreeing. Wow.
I mean, the book had quite a lot. I mean, for 14 issues, for me it flew by. It was a page turner for me. It wasn't a slog, but the book itself, like, it had loads. It had like the Emperor, it had rebellion, it had betrayal from the Avengers, it had romance, it had love, it had everything, all kind of put into 14 issues. And I thought it was great the way it was handled and portrayed on the page. I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah, totally, because it's essentially really it's a sci-fi story, really. But then once he gets to the planet, like, it becomes more of a kind of like Roman gladiator kind of, more like
Spartacus, isn't it? Yeah, it's just Spartacus in space. It's Spartacus in space.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, so like
I'm Spartacus.
No, I'm Spartacus.
Is Dean gone?
I think Dean's frozen.
We'll just continue. That's a really nice image. He's frozen onto you, isn't it? That's a really nice smile. He's frozen on.
I think one thing I was so impressed with about this book as a whole was the fact that I've never read a Hulk book, and for me, all I know of the Hulk is MCU, and he's just a character that just pops into films. He doesn't have his own film, and so character development wise, there's not a lot there. But when it comes to this book, there's so much depth of the guy, and I'm like I can understand why there's now an animated film about about this story. But why isn't there like a proper film?
There were two.
Yeah, and
no, in the MCU. In the MCU.
Well, one of them is
Only
considered MCU. The Edward Norton one is considered MCU. But at the same time, they weren't great. I suppose they were before the real MCU kicked in, really, weren't they? But I agree. Like Hulk, for me, has always been a person who kind of appears in other books, whether it be through an event or through a team book or something. And like Dean said earlier on, he always seemed very linear. Like it's very straightforward. He gets angry, he gets madder, he smashes, and that's it. Where this gave me a kind of new outlook of what the Hulk's actually like. And now that Donny Cates is on Hulk, I am going to pick up Donny Cates' Hulk and to find out more about Hulk.
Yeah, that sounds good. I think I might join you there with that, to be honest.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I've never been a fan of Hulk, never, not even in the movies. So I was going into this dreading it because it's the Hulk and it's like 14 issues. So I'm like, that's 2 ticks against you straight away. But yeah, I loved it. I was like, it's actually made me care about the Hulk. At the start, I wanted to see him get beat up because I didn't like him. But towards the end of the book, I wanted to give him a hug. So they managed to convert someone in 14 issues.
That's great, man.
They did really well with him. And you do, the facial expressions of seeing someone that big and that powerful, someone who can literally punch a planet in half. When you see someone sad who has that sort of power, it hits you even harder to know that they can actually be hurt in some way, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It just broke my heart.
What did you guys?
I want to see the next part because I want Doctor Strange to get a twat in. I want Mr. Fantastic to get a twat in. I want Iron Man to get a twat in, and I want Professor X to get a twat in. All right, all of them need to get a Hulk-sized fist in their face because they're all.
That would be great. That would be great.
I also read as well about the book that this happened at the same time as Civil War. The Civil War book came out, and essentially what the way they kind of made it happen is that they sent Hulk away because they didn't want him to pick a side because it's the Hulk. He would just destroy the world in the Civil War. So they sent him to this planet. So even like forward thinking and planning to have this was very good.
But
to get him out of the way.
They'll use him when they could, and when they felt they couldn't, they just get rid of him. That's just disgusting, isn't it?
What I didn't really understand. Well, I understood it. So the ship that Hulk arrived in, so the Avengers or the Illuminati always intended for that to explode, but the blast would never have killed. It didn't kill the Hulk. So why did they have the blast?
Maybe it was so that he couldn't use the ship to get back. Maybe Banner could reprogram it. Maybe
that makes sense. Yeah.
I would just think it's so that he lands on the planet, that explodes, he can never get off it again.
Can you guys answer me a question about the Hulk, like as in his strength? It's when he gets mad, he gets stronger. Does he always then stay that strong, or does he chill out a bit? You know what I mean? Like it always sounds
he has
like
a cup of tea and he gets weaker.
simmers down. It always sounds like to me that it's just like something happens, he's now this strong, like all the time, and then something else happens, now he's this strong. Does it just keep getting higher and higher, or does he chill out?
I've always taken it. Welcome back.
So sorry, like my internet just threw a complete mental then, like the modem shut down, like the router and everything just went crazy.
That's fine. We just stayed silent for the whole time.
Oh, that'd be interesting for the podcast. Nice one.
Just on Scott's question there, like to be fair, that's something I don't really know because I know in those the first 2 movies, especially the first one, the Eric Bana one, that movie, he would get shot by missiles and bullets, and you could see him hulking up. That was the thing. Hulking up was his phrase. And he got bigger and stronger and angrier. But for the kind of MCU, you didn't really see that. Like he was getting beat up. You didn't see him get angrier. He just kind of stayed the same.
Yeah.
So I don't actually know, like at what point does he stop? But kind of touching on what So go ahead.
I was going to say when Thanos was like beating him up in Endgame,
he ramped out.
That should have made him angrier and stronger and stronger and angrier and stronger, shouldn't it? Because he was being humiliated by Thanos.
And the thing too, like kind of, what I liked about the book too, in terms of like him in control of his anger, the fact that he did show Bruce, like he's in control. The Hulk's the one in control. Bruce has no control over the Hulk, but the Hulk has full control over Hulk and Bruce Banner, which I quite like.
Let me just catch up on some of these comments here, folks. Echidna says, "Oh no, Dean got nuked by the Avengers." Is that what happened? Tom is saying Disney doesn't own the rights to the Hulk. He can only appear alongside other Avengers.
Right.
I'm just trying to catch up. If we've got Triple G saying, if you don't think he can hold his own book, read Immortal Hulk. It's fantastic. Yeah, I've read the first 5 issues of Immortal Hulk, and it's very good. It has more of a horror vibe to it than anything else I've kind of read with the Hulk. Andy from Perpetual Comics is saying Hulk is the most complex, dynamic character in the Marvel universe. And we have, hold on, because I can see Jack's just made a comment there as well. He says, after Planet Hulk, it was such a great, compelling story. I was really let down by World War Hulk, but maybe that's because of how high my expectations were. I have no doubt we'll probably see World War Hulk on here at some point as well.
Next week, apparently.
Probably. And just a hello to Chris as well, off my shelves, joining us as well. Carl here is saying there are various Hulks depending on how angry, like Mr. Fix-It, and he has no limit potentially. That's true, yeah. He's got different personalities as well, hasn't he, run alongside the Hulk. And we've got Comic Mag Musings joining us as well there. Howdy to you, mate. My comments. If I drop connection again, I do apologize, but
that's all right,
because things are a bit laggy for me here.
Cool. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So it sounds like we were all fans of the art. I obviously missed what you guys were talking about there. But has anybody? I'll catch it on the rewind. Has anybody read any of the Hulk? Because I know we're all different kind of levels of reading. Anybody read Hulk?
The only thing I've read of the Hulk was in, as I mentioned before, in team books or in like an event book, never Hulk on its own. And this is the first kind of thing. And part of me wasn't looking forward to it because I didn't know what you can get with Hulk. Because you mentioned before, he's too linear. He gets angry, he smashes, that's it. But, we all mentioned this while you were gone. Like, we enjoyed the depth of the character throughout this book.
Yeah, I totally agree with that then. See, I miss all the good bits of conversation. Scott, how about yourself? Like, being a fairly new reader, have you ever read any Hulk?
No, I've never read any Hulk. I've seen him now and again in some other Marvel bits I've read, but never a Hulk story. I'm really impressed. I was just writing down on my sheet now, like the character development on him was great. He's going through a lot of stuff, and he manages to get through it, and he's quite diplomatic and calm about some situations, despite the fact that he's supposed to be mad and mental all the time. I was really impressed. I really enjoyed it. Greg Pak did good.
Yeah, he's definitely. I think he definitely. Let's say, I think we can all agree on that he redeemed himself over Doctor Strange Origins, I think.
Well, this is what I don't understand. I mean, I'm not trying to be really harsh, but Doctor Strange, none of us really enjoyed, but we all really enjoyed this. But they're in roughly the same kind of era, weren't they? The same kind of time, I think, were they? Not that far between it anyway. And it's just like, how you do so well.
Wasn't Doctor Strange, I think, was 10 years later. Wasn't that 2016? Okay. I can't be bothered to go look at the thumbnail now, but
maybe you're right. But just
I thought it was
like chalk and cheese.
Maybe Greg Pak is more of a long story writer, rather a short story writer, maybe.
Or more of a Hulk fan than a Doctor Strange.
Yeah, or just hates Doctor Strange.
Just to catch up on a few comments here as well, we've got Pablo Costa saying he read the Bill Mantlo and Sal Buscema run. Planet Hulk has hints of Crossroads Saga and Jorilla, but goes its own way. And Chris off my shelf says, I don't like you all agreeing so much. We need some friction. Shout out Scott for picking Doctor Strange some more and strike a balance. And a quick hello to the Not Quite Mint guys as well who've joined us. Howdy to you. Hope you're well, me. Yeah, Shane, how about yourself? Have you read much Hulk?
No, not on his own. I'm not a Hulk fan. So I put up with him when he's in a book with other people, but when he's on his own, I just pass over it.
Okay, rewind back a little bit. Like, you're not a Hulk fan. What is it about you that usually turns you off from the Hulk?
He broke his wall.
Sorry. He's boring. I find him quite boring. Like you say, he's just, oh, I'm angry now. I'm going to break some stuff, and then I'm not angry anymore. And it's like issue. Same thing.
Which is really weird because, in my opinion, like even growing up as a kid, like for me, the most recognizable characters are Spider-Man and Batman, right? But Hulk's up there too as the most recognizable character in the world, like people who don't read comic books.
Totally, yeah.
It's just really weird to say, like I thought that too. Like he was quite boring before reading this. I wouldn't be interested in Hulk, but I don't know why, because it's the Hulk. You should be into the Hulk. They made a TV show in the 70s. Do you know what I mean? It's weird.
I wouldn't say he was boring before. The stuff with like Betty and all of that, like that it is interesting. But I think for me, it's the linearity. Like this, I think, like Scott said, the character development in this is something quite special around the Hulk that I don't think you see too much in a lot of the other story arcs he's been in. For me, but Giretto Bono says you're boring.
I don't deny
it. Okay, so shall we get to doing final thoughts? We're at the 40-odd minute mark. Should we get to doing that? And hopefully my internet will hold out while we do this.
Well, Hulk out, is that interesting?
Hulk out.
Hulk smash. All right, let's do this. Glasses, as we've got to do. Okay, let's start with yourself, Phil. And you know the drill, guys. If you've read along with us this week or you've read it previously, 1 to 10, give us your score. I'll try and make sure I catch them all, and we'll take an average of what everybody thinks. Before you start, Phil, not quite mint here. He's saying Planet Hulk has got to be one of my favorite books. So no pressure if you don't, if you want to upset Tom.
Pressure. To be fair, it has become one of the favorite books I've read as part of the Nerd Herd. It's definitely in the top half anyway, but we have read some stinkers. Before reading this, I wasn't looking forward to it. It's 14 issues. I was expecting a slog. I was expecting to have to power through some issues and some good ones, yeah. And to be fair, there was a small part in the middle that I didn't really care for. But it wasn't 3 or 4 issues. It was maybe half an issue that I thought, well, that's what's the point in this. There are a few things that irritated me. Like I mentioned, Miek. Miek really irritated me later on. I preferred the previous version of Miek. I prefer MCU Miek, but in this book, I prefer the young Miek as opposed to this big hench king Miek. I didn't like that. He's just an arsehole. But also, there's a few character stories that I didn't really understand. Like the daughter of the ambassador who got killed in the first issue, his daughter. Oh, no. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I don't really understand her point of being in the story, because it looked like she was going to become the queen, but then nothing materialized. It just ended. There was nothing there. What was the point in that? So overall, art was great throughout. I can't fault the art. Story I really liked. I said it before, it was a page turner. I read it all in one sitting, and 14 books for me in one goes. That's good.
Wow,
yeah,
good effort.
And yeah, I enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to World War Hulk. Wish I'd read this before, because it seemed like something I should have read long ago when it first came out. So I'm going to be generous. I'm going to be fair and give it 8 out of 10.
Ooh, it's an 8 out of 10 from Phil. The money there. All right, Shane, over to you, mate.
I don't usually like massive long runs, as you know. I moan about 13, 14 issues, having to read that in a week. But yeah, I actually really enjoyed it. I think the length did really help with the character, because like I say, at the start, I was quite happy watching Hulk just fight for a while. I didn't think it was going to evolve into anything other than that, but it turned into this emotional love story, end of the world type. It was just a heartbreaking story at the end. So I actually like the Hulk now. I feel like at the start I was getting a bit of battle fatigue, There was
Yeah.
far too many. It was like fight, 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 have a conversation, then fight, 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 have a conversation, and it was like I had to keep putting the book down. I read this. I averaged like 3 issues a day to get it out. I had to put it down because I was getting tired of all the fighting. Lovely to look at, great to read. I'm not going to fault it because I can imagine this was fantastic reading monthly because it would be spread over the time.
Yeah.
But having to read it in a week, it did feel a bit much to read this much in 1 week. But overall, fantastic story, great art, great character of Hulk, which I wasn't expecting. For me, it's a 7.5. It would probably get more had I read it slower, if I had more time to read it. But I think because I read it in such a short time, I got a little bit bombarded.
I just like the idea there that you said that you know, this has kind of made you a bit of a Hulk fan now. I think that's really cool. I think any story arc that can do that with a character for somebody who wouldn't usually warm to one that's definitely you know, a good thing, I would say, when you're reading a book. All right, Shane, any more to add to that?
Nope, just Hulk smash. Or Hulk
Scott,
smashes.
He did.
Over to you, buddy.
This book was really cool. Like, I'm really happy I chose this as like the first Hulk book that I read. I think I have set myself a bar now of how a Hulk story should be told. So maybe, I don't know, swings around about how good that's been. So yeah, but this story got better and better in my opinion. I found it very emotionally gripping. Definitely like a page turner. I think the character development on most of the characters were really good, especially the Hulk. And we didn't even talk about the world building. Like, I really enjoyed the world building there as well. That was awesome. And you know, it says a lot about this story at the fact that it's been turned into an animated film and heavily referenced in Thor Ragnarok as well, you know. And I think it was brilliant. I really enjoyed it. It took me a few sit-ins as well, but I didn't have the issues like Shane did with like the fighting. But yeah, I'm gonna give it an 8.5, please.
8.5 from Mr. Shelf there. Okay, let's have a quick look at what everybody has said in the chat. Those that are like reading along with us this week. If you haven't got yours in right now, drop it in, and then I'll make sure I've got them all by the time we get to the end of mine here as well. Giretto here, he's saying the story was derivative, but it's still massively delivered with that comic book flair that wouldn't translate in another medium necessarily. A solid 8 out of 10 there. We've got This Month in Movie said read it all in one go, couldn't put it down. Story is brilliant. And Jack Talks Comics here, he's saying, I'm surprised the whole video was gone by with no one mentioning Korg and the difference between the MCU and the comic. There is so much more we could say about this. I think we could probably fill another hour
We could do
talking about like the world building and stuff like that for sure. Tom follows up his comment with an 8.5 out of 10 for him. Triple G gives it an 8. Really liked it. Very emotional story. Echidna comes in at 8 out of 10. Smashing, he says, and then sorry in brackets. No need to be sorry at all, mate. Where am I? We've got Liam here. He says, I read it in one go too. Enjoyed it and thought I wouldn't after the first issue or two, but it definitely got better as it went on. 8 out of 10. We've got Pablo Costa here. He's saying that he loved that Korg was one of the stone men from Saturn, unlike DC, Marvel, Silver Age silliness. It's just another opportunity to properly use continuity to great effect. I think that's another thing that we've not really touched on as well, was the continuity of the Hulk and stuff with this. But like I said, there's so much we could have talked about with this book. Andy from Perpetual Comics comes in with a 10 out of 10. Daryl says did or didn't finish the lot in time, sadly. Still rate an 8 though. Loved the animated film. So there we go. Daryl's a fan too. And hello to Shattered Glass comic reviews as well, join us. Right, I think I've got everybody's score in there. If I haven't, just drop it in there, and I'll double check by the time we get to the end of mine, and we'll see what the averages are. For me personally, I thought this was great. I love this. Not really a massive Hulk fan. I am a fan, but I'm not really a huge Hulk fan. But I think, like Scott, one of the key things you touched on for me was that subtle and in parts subtle, but then in parts very large sense of emotion that you got from this. And I think to do a storyline where, because the Hulk is kind of like a downtrodden character anyway throughout history, with kind of like his affliction of what happens to him. So to make a story where he almost gets everything that he could have in life to live a peaceful life, and then that all yanked away from him, I think is an incredibly brave story. And to the point how dark they went with it as well, I thought was quite brave for Marvel. I mean, yes, we usually get that dark stuff from DC, but I think Marvel, this was a good one from Marvel, in my opinion. I love the character designs. I thought it was beautifully drawn. I thought the Hulk looked great in this, to be honest. Silver Surfer looked amazing too. Yeah, I think it was just epic all around for me. And that is why I am going to give this an 8.5 for me.
Nice one.
There we go. All right. So let's see where it all falls then. We've got, for everybody that's read along with us this week and participated today, they have given it an average of 8.4 out of 10.
Wow.
Great.
That's sunshine, obviously making everyone feel rather generous today, I think. And for us guys on the screen, for us pinkies on the screen, let's just say that, we gave this an 8.1. So there's not a lot in it this week.
Nice.
There's a 3 decimal point difference in there. So I think that's quite good. We had a bit of a disparity, I think, last week, didn't we? So yeah, it's quite good. So I guess everybody wants to know where it falls on the Nerd Herd leaderboard then. So it's an 8.1. So that brings it in. Let's call up the board. 8.1 brings this in at, this is, it's just above Gods and Moors.
Wow. Yeah.
Yep. So this comes in, is that 5th?
6th.
6th.
There you go. 6th.
So
you did say that already. That served me right not to listen.
It knocks Gods and Mortals off the top banner. Sorry, Shane. That's
yeah. It's out of the top 10.
Shenanigans.
Yeah. So there you go.
I think, to be fair, I think it's quite deserving to be up there in that top row, to be honest. I'm happy with
For
it.
a Hulk story.
Yeah.
For a Hulk story.
It's impressive.
I really enjoyed that Gods and Mortals though. I think
Oh,
I
me too.
maybe enjoyed it
Don't be
more
wrong.
than you guys. I don't know, but like I think that deserves to be up there as well.
Oh, yeah, Gods and Mortals is the definitive origin for Wonder Woman. Absolutely.
Yeah, totally. But yeah, that's where it falls. It's an 8.1. That's where it is on the Nerd Herd leaderboard. So there we go.
cool.
Get your waves out. I'm on joking. We've got more to do. All right then. Do you let me tell people what we're reading next week first. Next week we're going to be reading Phil's Choice, and that was Phil. Do you want to tell him?
Skyward. Yes, Skyward is next week. I forgot. From Joe Henderson, who's currently writing Shadecraft. So Skyward next week.
There you go. And this is an image title from 2018 there, isn't it? Looking on that on the thumbnail there. And 6 issues. This is 1 to 6. Volume 1 is 1 to 6 of the current series. And I think they've just put out a deluxe hardback for this something not long ago.
Nice.
Yeah, I've got it coming in the post. So hopefully it arrives before time I can read it.
There we go then. You'll have to let me know if the hardback show what it looks like, because I might pick that up too. If this is any good, I might go on and get those deluxe books as well.
Nice.
All right then, folks, that's what we're reading next week. Hopefully you'll come along and join us, and hopefully my internet will survive for an hour of while we do this. So that's what we're doing next week. So let's just go around and let people know what we're doing this week. Phil?
Well, I've had my own internet problems this week, so I have been delayed in getting some of my videos out. So hopefully it's all working now, and I have something out before the weekend. It's kind of an indie indie book spotlight heading your way. I'm not going to tell you what title it is because I've recorded 4 different ones. I'll just decide which one to put out.
Is it Witchblade Volume 2?
Thankfully, it is not Witchblade.
No, that's in Shane's Read and React.
Yeah.
Is that you, Phil?
Yes, that's me. Thank you.
Shane?
The quiz is live. You can go over to my channel and watch Dawn of Comics Quiz Night 8 to see if any of these fine fellows win or if it's another one of the contestants. And tomorrow I'm dropping another What's in the Box, which will be part 2 to last week's figure extravaganza. Part 2. There we go. And yeah, go and watch that quiz, guys. That was good fun. And I'll just say why we're here as well. I want to say thank you to Shane that puts that on every month and hosts that and does all the editing and stuff as well. You do a good job with that, man.
Definitely.
Stop it.
I'm just trying to ensure that I get invited back next month. That's all that. Shane, anything else?
No, that's me.
Mr. Shelf?
Nothing coming up immediately. I do want to say thanks to everyone, though, that joined in the auction on the weekend. We managed to raise £129 for Cancer Research UK, and we sold a total of 25 books. Yeah, 25 books altogether. And yeah, £129 for Cancer Research UK. It was fantastic, and we loved it. We will be doing another one at the end of this month. And now that I'm not in a Premier Inn anymore, I can work towards the next episode of Comic Airways, which will be coming out at the end of this month as well. That's it so far.
Nice.
Great stuff. Look forward to that as well.
Me too.
Yeah.
Hopefully my internet will be all right.
I think Liam did a good job with you looking after the best bits for you, though, didn't he?
Oh, he did. He did great. Yeah, I need to thank him as well, to be honest. He did a fantastic job. I mean, I have thanked him, but I'll do it publicly now. Thank you, Liam. That was amazing. You did an awesome job. And Phil. Phil helped out with
Liam for the win.
It was brilliant.
Thanks, Liam. Love you.
Anything else, Scott?
No, mate, no.
Right then, let me wrap it up with a couple of shout outs for people. As I always say to you, if you like what we do here, you'll more than likely like some of these links that we drop for you too. So the first shout out I'd like to give today is for Captain Comics. He's a staple in the YouTube comic community, and he's a lovely guy as well. So go and check out Captain Comics. And we got some good news for this episode as well, guys. MJ Comics, I'll drop the link in there now. They have their channel back.
Woo!
For some mysterious reason, YouTube stopped them, and they've said, "Oh, we've made a mistake. Here's your channel back." So there's the link. Yeah, it's great news. So there's the link for the MJ Comics boys. And if you are already subscribed to them, I don't know how it works, but you might want to go and check to see whether you still are, because I don't know if they, once they kind of stop it and then reactivate it, whether that does anything with subscribers or anything. So you might want to go and check. But there's the link there as well. And the last shout out I want to give is for our very own Coral, who has joined us in the chat. She's here every week. Go and check out her vlog channel as well. She has one. So there you go. There's the link for that. There you go, folks. That is the shout out. And of course, I say it every week, go and find each other on Instagram and check each other out and connect up with each other. And I want to say a big thank you all for you joining us every week as well. This is so much fun getting together and talking comic books every Wednesday. And I am going to shut the hell up now because I've got a feeling my internet is going to die again. Like everyone is lagging. So on that note, folks, I am going to say, laggy waves out.